In the 1950s, the United States government created a top-secret research project. Its goal: to enhance and modify a normal human being into something more. A super soldier, if you will. In the early 1980s, researchers had a breakthrough. A stable and successful protocol was developed. Using a combination of biochemical engineering, gene therapies and modifications, and the best training the US military could provide, my unit was born. My name is Savin. I'm currently stationed in Knox County, Kentucky with my brother-in-arms, Schneidy. We are super soldiers, and this is our story. Mission log, April 21st, 1993. Project Zomboid is starting to get to us. This world has beaten us down over and over again. Morale is in the dumps, and if something doesn't change here soon, we may be done for. Work on the warehouse fortifications has been slow. Building is grueling and backbreaking enough on its own, but the building process is much more involved. Felling trees, processing logs into planks, and hammering nails to construct the wall is exhausting work, but it is also noisy work. And if there's one thing that will absolutely draw in a crowd of zombie jerks, it is noise. We have been continuously interrupted by zombies. It has been so damned frustrating. Just one big vicious cycle. We need to construct the fortifications in order to provide a safe haven from the zombies. But construction work is noisy and draws the zombies to us, which means we have to stop working in order to dispatch the zombies. Then we can get back to construction and the cycle repeats. We've been working for days, and the fortifications are nowhere near complete. Enough is enough. We recognized that most of the zombies were coming from the residential area to the south. I decided it was time to deal with these stupid, annoying zombie jerks. I left Schneidy to continue construction and headed south to deal with the zombies. As expected, this place was crawling with the undead. Time to clear this area or die trying. After clearing the outside area, I decided to clear each house. I entered the first residence and went room by room, slaying any zombie hiding inside. Once the house was clear, I stepped outside for a celebratory smoke break. That is when I heard a noise coming from the garage. Looks like I've got another stupid zombie to deal with. I popped open the window and prepared to hop inside the garage, ready to lodge my axe into the brainstem of the stupid zombie trapped inside. It's go time. I jumped through the window, turned to fight, and froze immediately. I could not believe what I was seeing. Crouched in the corner of the garage was a man. No. Not the rotting corpse of what used to be a man, but a living, breathing, non-zombified human being. It has been weeks since Project Zomboid was activated. I have slain over 3,000 zombie jerks since then. We cleared the entire town of Rosewood. We fought our way through tight spot after tight spot. And in all that time, we never found even the hint of another living person. But here he is. I was dumbfounded. Snap out of it, soldier. Your mission priority has just changed. I must escort this man back to the warehouse safely. His survival is now paramount. I turned to the man. He was just as shocked as I was. I asked him if he was injured. He said no. So I briefly explained the present situation, told him who I was, told him about the warehouse, and that the area was crawling with zombie jerks. We had to move now if we wanted to get back alive. He looked at me with a wry smile on his face and said, "You should have just said,
'Come with me if you want to live.'"
I chuckled. His Arnold impression wasn't half bad. Something tells me I'm gonna like this dude. The man grabbed the generator and said, "Name's Chrono. We can chit-chat later. Time to get out of Dodge." I escorted my newfound friend back to the warehouse, still in a state of shock at actually finding another human being alive. We remained as silent as possible on the way back. Didn't want to attract any unwanted attention. Once we arrived safely to the warehouse, I decided it would be prudent to find out a bit more about the new guy. So Chrono and I sat down for a little chat. I asked him to tell me his story. He said there wasn't really much to tell. When the world went to crap, he hunkered down and waited for help. He figured the authorities would get things under control in no time. So he just stayed in his house, living off of canned goods. But help never came, and the canned food ran out. He was forced to leave in search of supplies. Chrono moved from house to house, avoiding the zombies as much as possible. But he knew he wouldn't last long like that. A few days ago, Chrono heard the distinct sound of construction and woodworking to the north. Even though he knew it was risky, he decided to head towards it. You see, zombies don't build. That noise meant someone else was alive in this crazy world. So Chrono set out to find them, to find us. And man, he got close. I'm actually impressed. He reached the end of the residential area before he was forced to hide in that garage. Said he was trapped inside for a day and a half, constantly hearing the sound of zombies shuffling past the garage and heading north. He thought he was done for. But then he heard something different. Someone was fighting the zombies. Chrono looked at me with a tear in his eye and said, "You saved me, my friend. I prayed for salvation, and the moment you hopped through that window, I knew." He had answered my prayer. I didn't know what to say. I've never been very religious, but I didn't want to insult the guy. If that's what he believes, that's what he believes. I was merely doing my job. Soldiers protect citizens. It's as simple as that. Chrono's story made sense, and I did trust that he was telling me the truth. However, one thing did puzzle me. Chrono said he recognized the sound of construction and woodworking. That seemed odd. How could he possibly distinguish the sound of woodworking at such a distance? So I asked him, "You could recognize that?" "Oh yes," he said. "I would recognize that sound anywhere." "How?" I replied. "It is simple, my friend. Before the fall, I heard those sounds every single day of my adult life." I asked him what he meant by that, and his response, once again, left me dumbfounded. He said, "I am a carpenter. I build things for a living." I couldn't believe it. This world has been beating us down for weeks. And just when Schneidy and I had reached our breaking point, I find a survivor. And not just any survivor. A survivor with the exact skill set we need. I couldn't help but laugh. I turned to Chrono and said, "You thought I was your salvation? No, brother. I think you are our salvation." Next time you speak to the big guy in the sky, tell him thanks. Project Zomboid has been kicking us in the backside, but we finally caught a break just when we needed it most. Things are looking up. We were almost down for the count, but now we're back in the game, and you best believe that I'm betting on us.